Moving on from some of the tragedy for a little bit, I want to talk about this documentary that puts a little bit of light on said tragedy. And now comes this awesome little thing. So let's get it going. 16 Acres literally answers a question I've had on my mind since 2005. What the fuck took so long to build the World Trade Center? It literally answers all that questions and more. So this documentary is basically about the construction of the Trade Center complex to the memorial complex. And basically it kind of centers on the man who created the Trade Center in the first place, who then went on to design this new World Trade Center, as well with the help with this other guy who actually won I want to say a contest, because they had back in 2005 or 6 they had this little thing where all the architects came together and they had this little meeting of how their skyscrapers would look like. And let me tell you, some of the designs were horrid. Okay, they were almost trying to look like the World Trade Center themselves, especially one that would look like it was going to be made of glass and it was see-through. It looked like a skeleton of the Trade Center. It would have looked terrible. It wasn't even going to be a building. Remember when they, after 9/11, they put those two big ass stupid lights facing straight up in the sky? Yeah, those two lights would return inside that building and glow at night. It will, no, I don't even live in New York, and I can tell you I would fucking hate it, and I would still hate it. I still hate that design. That's the worst design that I've ever seen in this whole documentary. Everything else looked stupid, but it wasn't that terrible. It was, I'm like, no, don't fucking do it. Okay, I may not live in New York. I have family in New York. Okay, so I can have a little bit of say in what happens in New York as well. So that was fucked up. So I'm glad it did not go with that design. He actually won. They actually were going to go with that design. But of course, a lot of things happened and they didn't choose him. Thank God. They actually chose a guy who came over here on the boat. Actually, he gave his little backstory of how he got to New York City on a boat, and he saw the Statue of Liberty and stuff like that. And his design actually won. It was, of course, then given the name Freedom Tower. It's not the tower that we see now today. It was actually the original design that had that big long stick like a fucking horn of a rhino sticking out on the side of it. It was a nice design, but I didn't like that horn sitting on top. It should belong in the middle where it belongs, you know. But luckily for him, the guy who designed the Trade Center in the first place had a little bit of leeway in there, and now we got the Freedom Tower, which we now see today, and thank God they renamed it back to One World Trade Center. The Freedom Tower was a little cliche. I know this is America, but we don't say freedom as in a slap in the face to the terrorists. No. We kicked their ass and like, no, motherfuckers, this ain't the Freedom Tower. This is the World Trade Center #1, bitch. Tower 1. Like it or fear it. We don't give a fuck. Fuck y'all. You know? Shit. So I'm glad they named it back to One World Trade Center. That's how it should be. That's how it forever will be known as. Okay? Anyway, sorry for that little rant. I just hate stupid shit like that. Oh, this is America, so we gotta name everything freedom and all that bullshit. No, motherfuckers. That's not the way to do business. That's not the way to say fuck you to the terrorists, okay? No. Okay, move on. But yes, I'm glad we have. Matter of fact, let me see if I think I got it right here. I think. Don't quote me on it. I am glad that they switched it to this design. All because of the street. Because the original design was facing the street. They said no, let's make it move it over towards like that way. So they moved it away from the street, and this was the design after it was all said and done. So yes, that was a good thing. Two, of course, the deconstruction of the memorial. The memorial was a pain in the ass. The whole building site to build was a pain in the ass, because it seemed like every time they wanted to start building these towers. Granted, he was getting $7 billion and 7 billion in return, but only 4 billion in revenue. But of course, that wasn't enough to complete a whole 16-acre complex, you know. So they had to cut building 5 and I think 6 out of the project. So now it's only going to be 4 towers, basically. But yeah, it's a lot of shit that went on into it. Even one main villain that had to go into it. Politics. Oh, I fucking hate politics. Okay, this is why I say the Twin Towers should have been completed and then within 2007 to 2008. And with all that bullshit that went on trying to get these towers up and functional, the guy who created the original Trade Center completed 7 World Trade back in 2006. He's like, you know what? All this bullshit going on, I'm gonna do something right under your noses. I'm gonna build up my World Trade Center Tower 7, whatever you want to call it. And it was completed in 2006. It was the only functional tower to ever be completed. It was the only thing that came out of that whole fucking ordeal. And it's fucking sad until 2013 where Tower 4 was completed. So we now have 2 working functional towers. We have 3 actually, because you know this bad boy is now complete, but I don't think it's operational just yet. I think they're still doing some work inside the building, but the outside is done, so that's a good thing. So yeah, and if you want to know where 7 World Trade Center is, it is right behind 1 World Trade Center. It's right there. So that was awesome. They actually put it right back where it was at, so good thing. And of course, once we get to the ending of it, where you get to that memorial, that was a somber thing for me, because I remember recording the memorial ceremony. I had to work at the time. I was still working with FedEx, so after I got off work and it was done recording, I watched it for hours. It was something special, and everybody that I seen in that recording is in this documentary. So I was like, holy shit. The only thing they cut out were the presidents. You know, Bush, Clinton, and Obama were there, because I remember them being there. But it was mainly like the family members, the architect who designed that memorial and stuff like that. This is a very, very good documentary. And if you want an uplifting spirit from 9/11 for a minute, for an hour and 32 minutes, this is your thing. 16 Acres is going to get an A+ for me. I'm loving these documentaries. Just gotta reflect, you know. Just gotta reflect. Let me know what you guys think about 16 Acres if you've seen it. If you want to see it, it's on Netflix. All these documentaries I'm reviewing are on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, check them out. Let me know what you guys think about this. I'll see you in the next 9/11 documentary. I'm probably gonna do 2 more, and then I'm gonna call it quits for 9/11 for this year, and then I'll start again next year. So, alright, I'll see you.